right. That's how you do it.
Welcome. And this is Soul Whisperer, and we are getting ready to go, and we're going to be doing the Two of Wands today. And welcome, John. Welcome, Ange. Welcome, Tapest. Okay, Lila. Welcome, Lila. Uh-oh, what just happened? I'm hitting the wrong buttons here. Okay, that's
Oh,
it.
gee.
And this is Ophelia.
Althea. I can't say my own name.
And she is going to tell us about her channel and what is she does while I turn the camera down and in such a way that you don't see any of my clutter.
That sounds like a plan. All right.
Man, yeah. And then I will start coloring the cape, and then that's where where we are at. And she is now it's her turn.
All
Uh,
right. Thank you so much for having me today, Bill. I'm very excited and interested in chatting with you and getting to know you a little bit and watching you work. I'm Soul Whisperer, and I want to tell you how I got the name for this channel. This is the second iteration of my YouTube channel. When I started my channel in 2018, I didn't read tarot cards there. I simply gave little mini spiritual, self help, self love kind of talks. Much what I still do, but they're longer now. And but I didn't read tarot there. I was going to all kind of tarot channels to watch tarot videos, and that's a whole nother story. Think of the whole twin flame phenomena that was really springing to life at that time. But anyway, one of my subscribers, I was doing one of my talks, and at the end of it, she wrote in the comments, "Oh my, you are so my soul whisperer." And that's how I got that name. And I thought, oh, because the name I had before in the first iteration of my channel was On High, like being on high, on top of something, because my surname is High. And so I thought it was clever, but people kept coming on my channel going, "Oh, you get high? You are high?" I mean, I just got all kind of crazy stuff. So when she said that, I thought, perfecto. This is a perfect opportunity to change my channel name, as I'm now going to start doing something different anyway. I wasn't just going to do the "You Are Worthy" and self love videos and things that I was doing, but now I was going to do tarot as well. So that is how I got my channel name, and that is really what I do on my channel. I read tarot and oracle cards uh, from a level of, well, what I call spiritual consciousness. I always see from the highest vantage point so that we have something to aim for in our personal growth and development for those people who are ready, willing, and able to be working on themselves. Because you really can't get that far without it. I mean, you can get far, but some of us want to go beyond whatever this is we're doing here. So really, that's my little 1, 2, 3, Bill. That's what I do. My spiritual reality and life is the most important thing to me, and I have to walk through the world that way. So yeah, I share that. I share that with people who come to my channel, subscribe to my channel. Oh, I'm liking that pink. That's kind of a nice highlight there.
I think the sleeve a different color, just a slightly lighter color because it is different from the outerwear because and
Yeah,
that's
it's
I believe
cool.
that's also the same color as like his hose that he's wearing. I'm sure that he doesn't have bare legs because he's not a person of the 20th century. He's a person
Right.
of the past where men wear either long underwear or hose everywhere. And yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So when you started like with that twin flame era, was that like in 2021, 2022? Because
It
I
was
see
like it was like 2018 and
oh,
2019.
2018.
And that was
I
like
see.
that's one day, and once in a while, what I started kind of doing is story time too, a little bit on my channel. I've only done one, but really it's about kind of lessons that I've learned, especially lessons to relationships. So I told a little story about one particular relationship in my life, and that whole twin flame thing is a whole nother further. Yeah,
Yeah.
like and subscribe, everybody. That's right.
I
Um,
did. I did link your channel in the before we began. So this is we're doing art here. Actually, it's not really art. We're doing coloring the tarot.
Coloring
And
is so cool because, for one thing, it puts you back in touch with the innocence. This is my perspective. It puts you back in touch with that innocence that you had as a child, hopefully. And it puts you in a state in which you can dream, intuit, you can vision, you can do other things because you're not so much in your left brain. You are freeing yourself to just be and explore. That's how I see it. I even bought color pencils one time, but I didn't get that far. I didn't get that far with them as
yeah,
that. So,
I got this coloring set from my sister for Christmas. She gave it to me. Uh,
oh, lovely. That's nice.
Usually,
That's
I
nice.
kind of like people. They in my family. They. I'm what almost 60 years old, and they never really
Oh,
figured out. They never really figured out that I never stopped liking toys.
you get that youthful thing going. Well, it's
Yeah,
good.
yeah, like that. Oh, like that, and so that's kind of a thing. But anyways, so I guess that's what kind of for me what gravitated towards the tarot is that it kind of it with cards and things like that. It kind of speaks to that inner child that I have in me.
That's lovely. Yeah, we all have, actually.
Yeah,
Some
yeah,
people prefer to ignore it, but you can't. I'm going to say this about the inner child, Bill, and I don't know what you think about it, but we all have that inner child. That inner child is our wisdom. And to
mm,
the degree that you give attention, service, like this is one way you could do it, the coloring and playing and doing things that honor that innocence, as I said. To the degree that you do that, because when I first learned about this, I was like, I don't want to hear all that, whatever I didn't get and didn't do and all, and I just avoided it. And it's like that wounded part of yourself is also your manifestation place.
yeah,
So
and so
if you don't want to tend to that, don't be wondering why you're not getting the things you want in life because that child is stubborn and wants just
mm,
your attention and love. She might not have gotten it from her
yeah,
mom and dad. That's why you're here. You have to give it to her or him.
so so then in a sense that's your innocence, and so if you look at the this particular icon and you have the child Jesus who's both a full-grown man and a child,
Mhm.
and so it yeah. Hope that she doesn't try to call my phone here because somebody did want
Yeah.
a bunch of photographs and anyways, and so you have that in that whole Madonna image. That's was something I've always seen, or not really. You think of this as a child, but then yet it's not a
Yes.
child,
No,
and
it's
it's like
not in that picture.
yeah, not necessarily in that picture, yeah. And okay, let's see, where was I? We were that inner child thing, yeah. So
Yeah.
you started your channel in 2018, 2019.
In 2018. Yeah.
Mm.
And I used to come every day and make like these daily spirit messages is what I used to call them. They were like 5, 10, 15. And at the same time, the reason that I started the channel in the first place was because my then teacher, I was studying shamanism, and my teacher, she had 6 of us, and
Mm.
she wanted us to start YouTube channel and give predictions.
Oh,
So yeah, so I did that because I was facing my fears at the time that I could do something like that, get out there like that. And I did it. In fact, I was the only one who did it amongst the other five women. Just like acted like she never said anything. But I was doing what I needed to do, and I used to do that. I used to channel because we learned to channel and everything in there. We learned all the. She's from the Inca shaman tradition, and so we learned all of that. But also she does other kind of healing work and channeling and healing work, and she taught us that. So I used to
Yeah.
do. She wanted us to do that, open a channel and do predictions. So
I
initially, when I did that, I was doing predictions on my channel, and then I said the whole thing. I rewound in 2019, I think in 2019, maybe the end of 2019, I decided I wanted to add the tarot in.
Mhm.
So that's kind of what happened. And I didn't want to channel anymore. So
Yeah.
that's kind of in a nutshell that the story of how I got from point A to point B.
Okay, that's kind of interesting. Welcome, Gray. Now I got an echo in here. Where that's coming from. Well, anyways, so what color would you like the boots to be and the hat? Are they like the same color or different colors?
Mm, maroon or burgundy. If you have something
Burgundy.
like a deep
What?
wine, if you have something like that. If
What?
not, you can make them purple.
You know what? I have. We'll do purple then. I have. I have. I'll just do. My fingers went on these two colors here, which
Okay.
is um, will come in, and this is a deeper color of what is on there.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So, so is the echo on my end or is it on your end?
I don't hear an echo.
You don't hear an echo?
I don't, but maybe the audience does.
Hopefully nobody else hears an echo. And anyways, so in this soul whisperer, that's is it kind of like like the show Heartland, where they're the horse whisperer and they're figuring out what the horse wants to know, but you're instead of the horse, you're figuring out what the soul wants to know.
Well, I never thought of it that way, but yeah, essentially, the dog whisperer, the horse whisperer. Um,
Mhm.
I saw somebody the other day with a channel called the Spirit Whisperer. So we're just all around here to our respective targets. You know.
Okay, so
Yeah.
on the subject of whispering, now what about the globe? And then we'll get to the
Oh, the
whispering.
globe. The globe is traditional. It's got to be blue and green
Blue and
in
green.
there. Maybe
Okay.
maybe a little yellow if you want to stick a little yellow in a few places.
Okay,
But blue and
yellow,
green.
blue and green and yellow. Okay, so
I
I
don't
think
know
I'm
why I said that.
okay. That's fine. You did say that, and that's what we're gonna do. And so while we are doing it, like this color yellow, it's a nice bright yellow.
Sure, why not?
Mhm. So blue, green, and yellow.
That blue is nice.
So what do you think the guy in the Two of Wands is whispering to the globe there?
Hmm. Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Okay. The globe might actually be whispering to him, like, choose, do something, buddy, you know?
Yeah.
Because really he's poised to, it's on him. So the globe might actually be the one that's telling, that's burning in his hand a little bit and telling him, look, this is the moment because this is Wands energy. This is
Hmm.
fire energy, which is why I love Wands. My favorite card is the Queen of Wands in that suit. And it's like, that's fire. That's take action now. That's get busy. That's being open to the spirit for inspiration. So if it's anything, he's not telling the globe. I think the globe is telling him, get to getting, buddy.
Yeah.
So that's my thought on it, Bill. I mean, he's got this opportunity, and the globe is symbolizing this is your moment. What you gonna do? You
Yeah.
know, do something.
So the globe is
So,
whispering to him. But what if, so what if he were whispering to the globe? What would he say? Like, this is, he's whispering to the world. He's whispering to
oh,
the
whispering to the
whole
world.
world. And so if you were this guy, the Two of Wands, and what would you be whispering to the whole world?
Oh, that's a tricky one. Now, that's a trick question. But okay, I would likely whisper, listen to me. Listen to me. I'm thinking about you with your best interest in mind. I would say Juan's energy is, like I said, fire energy. So that's like leadership, that's leading energy. So I might say, follow me. But not follow me like I know everything about everything, but I got some ideas and maybe you can benefit from them.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Follow
that's what I get.
me. I like that.
Hmm.
'Cause, it's like when we talk, people talk, uh, the problems of the world, and then after like an hour or two, you and your friend or whatever talking, you got all the world's problems solved, and
Well,
that's
yeah, I would say also that globe can symbolize the fact that, as you stand there looking out, you've got the whole world in your hands, so to speak, meaning you have the opportunity to do something to make a difference. You have an opportunity to explain that for people, and this is what I think I like to do, is to see beyond the obvious, see beyond the ordinary, see beyond this here moment and reality. Look out, expand. And so the globe for me is symbolic, the whole world, right? But
yeah,
even the whole cosmos. It's like everything is possible. That's what this card is, it's potentiality.
potential.
So, yeah, I see that. I see him. So if he's telling the globe something, I still don't know if he's telling the globe, but he's telling the globe, maybe he's just using the globe as a support for himself, and he's saying, okay, I got this. I'm just taking all
Yeah.
kind of leaps here. I've never said as much when I get the Two of Wands, but for me, it's always like symbolic of this is a moment of choice. And what are you going to do? What are you going to choose? Are you going
Well,
to choose to see the glass half full or half empty?
this
For
this this
example.
is, this is your chance to really talk about the Two of Wands, and so what in that, what does the Two of Wands mean to you? What does the Two of Wands mean to you? What does it speak to you?
Well, that's pretty much what it speaks when I see it. It's usually speaking, you know, about taking, you got to take the bull by the reins. Is that how that expression goes? The bull by the horns.
Yeah.
And, this card is about is being decisive, making a choice, taking a moment and acting, taking control of your life, your circumstances, your mind, whatever it is that's in front of you that is all about choice points. Do I go
Okay.
here? Do I go here? Should I stay or should I go? Should I,
Really
and from all levels of life, from the spiritual to the mundane.
Yeah.
Should I take this job or should I quit this job? Should I
Mhm.
go with this guy or should I find somebody else? There's all kinds of, choice moments that we have. And this card in particular, because it's Wands energy, is really emphasizing take action for me. It's also like, and make decisions. And it's also about planning. So it's like having the vision to look ahead and see the potentials are, what the possibilities are. It's about possibility. It's about vision.
Mhm.
It's about, it's life.
Mhm.
And who's maybe people in the chat will disagree, but who's more filled with life than the fire signs? You know? So in terms of expenditure and how the energy looks and appears.
So Elizabeth says that he could be using the globe as a means to hype himself up to take the next step.
That's a great point. Yes. And whispering in, as you said, what is he whispering? So, yeah, I think that's great, Elizabeth. He could definitely be doing that. It's like a, what do you call it? Kind of like moral support, you know.
Or maybe he's looking at the globe and says, "Oh, that's so beautiful. I could just eat you up. I could just eat you up." It's
Okay, I guess
like a
maybe
big
it's a
snow cone, no? Big
maybe it's a
gum.
cake globe.
Yeah. So what? Let's go with the wands here. What do you what color do you want those wands to be?
Hmm, that's a good question. Um,
Fire energy, but we could say just red, but we got a lot of red in here.
yeah, you got a lot of pinkish there, so I want unique contrast. I mean, I don't know anything really about art, but and you know,
Well,
like I said, the shading and the lighting and all of that, but contrast for me. So
it's not
maybe
that. This is about um what you feel, what that color means to you, what you feel about it, and we're not worrying about what is pleasing to everybody else's eye, what it
no,
is to you. And so maybe it might be a earthy tone brown, and then we might layer in some yellow and some
no.
um
Actually, I would say now if it's just colors that appeal to me in this moment and they don't have to make sense to you or anybody else, I'm going to say make them hot pink.
hot pink.
Okay,
All
hot
right.
pink, because I see that as, you know, a very definitive thing. If you're going to take the bull by the horns, as I said, and take action, then you need some kind of or bright orange. But orange really doesn't really go
I
with the pink.
have, I have
So
these I have these pencils called magenta and hot pink. And so we'll start with that hot pink. And then
okay,
there's this rose pink. To me, in my eye, I look at it, oh, that's just purple.
I
And
love rose pink,
but
but
that's
no, for this we need hot pink or
hot pink.
magenta. Mhm.
So we're going to start with this wand that's bolted to the foundation. And so, what does that mean to you when this hot pink energy is bolted to the foundation of your house?
Bolted to the foundation of my house.
Yeah.
Ooh, you know, if I didn't know better, if I didn't know better, and I guess I don't know better, Bill, I would say you're really setting me up here in a way because your questions are very, very interesting and very, you know, make you second, you know, make you think twice, you know, which is really a good thing because now you've got me thinking of these being bolted to my house. Well, the pink, the hot pink is like, you know, symbolizing take action and, you know, jetting off and doing that. But you don't want to grab the ones that are bolted to your house if they're bolted to your house because you don't
Mhm.
want your house to, you know, destabilize or anything like that. So, I mean, if we're going to take that little metaphor out some, you know, so I would say then if I what it would it say to me about my house, I would say, "Ooh, I made a mistake painting it that color."
You made a
That's
mistake.
what I would say. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's,
So
that's what I
John,
would say.
John says, "Oh, I can see that Bill hasn't had any lunch today." Actually, John, you know what? With the time change and all that, I woke up at 12:38 this afternoon, and I'm just only on my second cup of coffee. But
Oh
that's
my
just
goodness.
But you see what you if what you don't know about me, Ophelia, is that I am essentially a retired bartender,
Hmm.
and so my sleep schedule has is pretty much it's like pretty well fixed that I go to bed someplace between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m.
Oh goodness.
And so that's what you're looking at, and being having worked in the casinos, and I bartended in the casino,
Right.
and I did alcohol service and food service in casinos, and with which are three shifts. And then one of the jobs I had was a cocktail waiter on the all night shift, where it was 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. And so I've done a lot of I'm not very good at going to bed early and getting up early.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I say you were in the Ange Club because you guys in the John Club, you are the Midnight Raiders. That's what I call you
Yeah.
all because I am definitely going to be in the bed early. My bar fly days are over. You know,
Yeah.
I remember I used to hang out in the bars. Now that you say you're a bartender, and I don't drink anymore, but boy, what comes to mind? You know, long give me a Long Island iced tea. How about that?
We could do that.
When I used to.
I would rather serve you up. I don't really drink either anymore because I'm on, but I would rather serve you up some.
What would you
I
say?
would like some cognac mixed with
Oh,
mixed with some rye whiskey.
well, now
Like
see, you got me there when you added the whiskey. I
yeah,
was a.
that running like some Knob Creek and some Cavassier, and then and having that in a in a snifter, nice room temperature, and that's to me is like a really fine drink, and
Wow. I
nothing with
wouldn't say.
nothing with I like liquor if you can drink it on its own at room temperature.
Mm. Well, I wouldn't
And
choose that for myself, but I would open to it if you suggested it. I would try it once. But yes, you did hit the nail on the head with the cognac because that used to be my drink of choice.
yeah.
You know, back in the day, I used to drink not Courvoisier though; it was Hennessy or Remy Martin. Those were the days, though. That was a long, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But wow, I don't really want to be dreaming about drinking. But
Well,
yes,
I don't mean like put you back someplace, but it was like
no, it's
that's
okay.
kind of, I mean, I haven't bartended since 2019,
Mm.
but
Sounds like something you enjoyed.
the pressures of the being I wasn't here talking about this because we're here talking about 10 of wands, but or
Two
the
at
two of
once.
wands, and it's there you're caught when you're working in a, let's say was working in an Indian gaming casino, and you are caught between their house policy and the Oregon liquor laws,
Mm.
and where you're in as a casino bartender or liquor server, I didn't feel like I had the right to cut somebody off on my own, but I had to go through the establishment in order to do it. So
Oh, okay.
you had to call up you had to call up a supervisor, and they had to come out and do an evaluation. But the problem were is because I'm kind of also a little bit neurodivergent. I don't
Mhm.
like conflict and things like that, and so that doing that thing and having to ask was very difficult for me. And so oftentimes I just wouldn't bother, and I would just either serve that person another drink and just hope the hell that they didn't like tip over on me.
Yeah, yeah, you did the best you could in the moment.
Yeah, exactly. And anyway, that's enough of that. But that's kind of so there were a lot of there were a lot of difficulties, and then I was also having migraines every single day that I worked there,
Oh,
and so I kind of left because of that. But nevertheless, but there was also COVID and all that shit, all that crap. Anyway, we're not. That's enough of me, and I don't. And that's not. I did not want to talk about work of what I did in the past. So we
okay.
are at the we were at the wands that were bolted to your house,
Hmm.
and then how about we go on to the foundation? What is the foundation of your house going to look like?
Navy
What,
blue.
navy blue?
Hmm. I don't
All
even
right.
know why. I want to ask Elizabeth. You know, it's like for some color choices because honestly, this is, I probably look like it maybe for me. when your child comes home with this artwork, and all the different colors are in the picture,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, it's so beautiful, little
With that,
child.
with that blue there. Okay, so you are whispering to the globe and telling the globe what what it needs to hear in order to go forward into the world, to go forward. And these, so we have our little mini globe, and that is a representative of the whole universe out there, and then you're going to release those thoughts out into the greater world, and
Oh,
just
that's perfect.
then to see what happens, right? You're going to
Hmm.
see.
Well, with full faith that that which I have put into the universe will return to me.
Hmm,
That's when you say release that to the world, and it's like knowing that it will be fulfilled. Because Two of Wands is not about saying, "Oh, I hope it'll happen," or maybe it'll happen. It's about confidence. So when you're
hmm.
speaking that word out there, you've got to be doing so with authority in your voice. And that's a whole nother thing. We speak into life those things we want to bring to us and create.
Yeah.
But
Um,
so yeah, so I'm going to run with that. That is what you're talking about with that globe. But I also like, I think what Elizabeth said earlier. That it's like also some kind of a support that you can utilize it as like a buddy. If you had a buddy there, you'd whisper, "Okay, I'm ready. Are you ready? Let's go." That kind of thing. You know.
yeah.
So there's many ways, I guess, to look at it, and that's what's coming to me in the moment, Bill.
Well, that's what we're all about here. Because see, I do spend a lot of time in stream of consciousness. So that's kind of how
Ah, I
I
love it.
do a lot of stream of consciousness, and with writing and with everything else. And
Hmm.
you know and that, when your teacher was telling you that you needed to do a YouTube channel in order
Hmm.
um
She was pushing us.
to push you out into the world. So that was like this two of wands moment this
Mm.
was she was whispering into you, and you are the
Yeah.
globe, and she's whispering in you. You need to put forth into the universe your knowledge,
Yeah,
and put
that's really what she was saying.
your
It's
knowledge
like,
out there. And you were ready, and everybody else in your class was not quite ready for whatever reason.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. They were all so good, and some of them were really extremely good when it came to doing the predictions and the
Mhm.
psychic things. They were. Some were. A few were really, really good. So, yeah, but that's a whole. The shaman story is a whole thing for another time. You know, it was a good part of my life, and it was a good experience, and I learned a lot, and I use
Now,
some of those things in my work
did I
now. Hmm.
understand right when you, in one of your emails, that you said you were from Ecuador? Is that where you're from? Or
No, I'm from the United States. I'm from the
oh,
D. I'm from Detroit, but I live
Detroit?
in Ecuador. Yes, I live
You
in
live
Ecuador,
okay.
which is in between. To the north is Colombia. Everybody knows Colombia, and to the south is Peru, and everybody knows Peru, Machu Picchu, and all of that. So
Yeah.
we're just a little country in between those two bigger countries,
Well,
and in Latin America.
what's kind of interesting, Thea, is that one of the things that I do to relax is I watch Ecuadorian gravity kart racing.
I don't even know what that is, Bill. What is that?
That is,
Gravity kart racing.
yeah, where these guys, they have these two-person carts with no motors on them, and they put them up on the top of one of those mountains, and then they race down using just gravity. And then of course occasionally the roads go up, and then they're out there pushing, and so they're doing like a race where they're on the average speed of like 45 to 90 kilometers per hour, or
Ooh,
100 kilometers per hour, and they're going downhill. So you're looking like downhill skiing, but it's downhill kart racing.
wow. I
And
don't even know anything about that. That's funny. All I know is because they love their soccer here, their football, as they call it.
this
So,
probably is what they might do in the off season in the middle of the summer or something like that. Then they close off the roads and everything, and
mm,
then have these roads, and so it looks like it's probably like something like early in the morning sometimes,
hmm
and then maybe they do one race or something, and so like there's some of the guys are starting to get quite sophisticated with their GoPro cameras on their helmets
oh, that's
and uh,
fancy.
and everything and their fanciness. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna
Wow,
put
that's
in here.
interesting. Well, you can do, you can people go, what do you call those things? Parasailing, paragliding. People do all kind of things. They have all kind of. I've never done any of it. One day I might do the thing where you put they put you. I guess I don't know what you call it. Where you're it's like you're flying with some wings, but you on a line and you come from the top and go across the jungle, kind of like.
What do you mean,
I don't
like
know.
hang
I don't know
gliding?
the names of these things. Hang gliding, yeah, I think you can do that. That might be
Hmm.
fun one day, maybe,
Yeah.
maybe. I don't know, but yeah, I'm not as sports oriented as people, and I'm not as
Um,
outdoorsy as a lot of people. So I don't, and then I don't really watch any, you know, television or things like that. Zip line. Oh, okay, I see now in the chat. Zip line. That's exactly it. The guy
yeah,
that
there.
used to live here, he was from the Netherlands. He used to live in the little house next to me, and he met an Ecuadorian woman, and they began dating, and they went out zip lining, and she took him everywhere so he could, and he took beautiful pictures that he shared with me.
Mm,
That's as much as I know.
yeah. Well, that's interesting. There was a South Park episode about zip lining.
I like
The
that
boys
blue.
they were just like completely bored to death, and when they laid the episode out like you watching it and you're like completely bored to death watching these because the kids were just like, oh god, zip lining. Can you think of anything more boring to do? That was in that
Wasn't that
set.
fun? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so what are you thinking so far?
I like the colors. Actually, like the colors. I think there needs to be another color, but I don't know what it is. That's why I was sort of hinting, hint, that
Yeah.
maybe Elizabeth, because she's artistic, would have an idea.
Well,
You know,
I'll
because
get
I
started.
really, you know, I really, I'm not. That isn't my forte. Like the balancing of the colors, because I do want it to have some kind of balance. You know, nowadays
You
there's maybe some yellow in there somewhere.
want some yellow on the foundation?
Not in the foundation, but like maybe out there in the
Okay.
background there somewhere. A little yellow, a little orange, but not too much. Just
Why
enough
don't
to like. But I don't know what
why don't we head out there to the sky?
else.
Tell me about the sky.
Oh, I want the sky to be like the sky that I grew up with, not this white stuff in the air clouds here that we have now that's trying to pass for clouds and a blue sky. That's
Uh-huh.
not getting it. That's not getting it at all. John says
So
yellow wands. Well, it's too late for that now. Yellow wands. He made them hot pink, like I asked.
yeah. So in cards,
Hmm
it has a pink purpley sky.
I don't want a pink
This
purpley
one
sky.
this one has a pukey
Hmm
paper mill sky.
hmm
And then this one has on the
I like that sky best of all. I like that greenish. No,
emerald everything else sky. So you want like a really light blue sky, but we got
no,
all this blue.
not light blue. I just meant more. I don't know what color that is, but I like that color you just showed. So use that one. Maybe that'll be a contrast. That emerald color.
Emerald green. So if we
Yep.
want to start, like, let's say, let me just put it on the side over here.
Hmm.
What about
Yep.
that? But emerald green has a bunch of other colors in it
Yeah, but it's
too. It
kind of
has
green and it's kind of turquoise, kind of that sky, kind of greenish blue, the way I'm
like this
perceiving
one,
it.
this one
That
here.
tarot card. Yeah, more like that. More
Okay,
like
all
that,
right.
I
So
guess.
it's still there. All right. So where are we at? So how does let's go on to the question of the tarot as far as how does how do you think that tarot works?
I think for me, tarot works like just about any other kind of divination or any kind of really when you're seeking to get information from something. It works through you. It works through your subconscious. It works through your consciousness. And
Hmm.
so this is for me why, and I don't mean, this is just me. I can't just listen to anybody doing tarot because it depends on for how I perceive or receive their levels of consciousness. Like when those days when I was telling you I used to go on those channels for the twin
Hmm.
flame stuff, there would be all kinds of people I was bumping into reader wise. I mean, I didn't really interact with them, but I just observed and the messages and things like that, but also the kind of people that were coming into the chat and they were interacting with them and just there's a level of consciousness. And so high consciousness cannot come through low vibrational energy. It just cannot. So for me, tarot is like if you read palms, if you interpret astrology, if you use bones to toss them, read teacups and coffee bean grinds or whatever. It's still the universe speaking through you. You're the channel, and to the degree that your consciousness can receive the higher understanding for you to translate it is what you get. And so it's not meant to really like say that because we can all learn we all learn the cards, we all know what they mean, but you come to be let's maybe another way of thinking about it is that where your interest is also when that energy comes through you is what you can share and give to others.
Hmm.
So, like you're very artistic. So maybe when you're doing it, you get the imagery and you might colors might stand out or you get dreams in your consciousness when you're looking at the cards. I don't know. Everybody receives it differently, but I do think principally that what I said that it since it comes through your consciousness, no matter what it is, you know, you are as a reader or a person dispenser of information to others, in my humble opinion, you are required to give the highest and best information that you can, which means you have to your vehicle has to be open to that. You have to be able to receive it. So yeah, I'm real particular about that. And so that's my thought about how tarot works. It works through
Hmm.
you. It isn't so much about, like I say, you can read the interpretations. Two of Wands means planning, make decisions, and whatnot. But it's like in this moment when you are approaching that question or the energy that you might be feeling, if you're reading for yourself, what what is it saying with regard to that? You know, is it, providing food for nourishment or is it providing something else to you? Are you using that moment to say, oh, you're so wishy washy, make a choice? It's the
Hmm.
level of the way you are receptive to the information. I'm always, me personally, mm, intending to provide the highest vibe that I can in any particular moment. Because
So
we all fluctuate with that.
then why couldn't you do a reading, let's say, using these cards? Now, let's say,
Hmm.
I'll just gonna I'll lay out a couple of them, and you can tell me what they mean.
Well, do you have a question?
No,
They
these are
look
blanks.
blank.
They are.
Well, they mean what you want it to mean. What do you
So,
want it to mean?
well, I'm just saying is because you are the channel and you are giving voice to these images. So why do you actually need any images at all to to open up that channel?
Well, here's the thing that I think about tarot, why it's so interesting is that people who are sitting there in front of you watching your the information you're giving out and sharing, it gives them something, it gives them something to focus on. So the cards serve as a kind of entertainment in a way, like we watch the television or the movies. They kind of serve as providing something for the person to focus on. But you don't really have to have them. I mean, you know, if you channel or psychic or medium or these kind of things, you don't really need tarot cards.
Hmm.
You just open and then you tune in with you've built up a level of communication with your inner divine, and you can give that information. So it's just, I think it's nice for people because why would they just, maybe they don't just want to sit there and just look at you. They want to have something else to focus on, perhaps.
To have
So,
part of the experience, and so maybe some people might want to have the experience of going to a fortune teller in a fancy tent, and a person with a gold a crystal ball in front of them, and so
hmm
forth. The whole like experience, which I've actually never had that experience, but
well, I
you
have a
can.
crystal ball. I used to, they call that scrying. I used to water scry and crystal scry. But I know what you mean because, in every little town, especially when I was in the like areas like when I lived in Iowa, for example, you would be in a certain little area and you would see that big shop. They would have that big hand on the window. And I
Yeah,
was so intrigued. This was 20 or 30 years ago. I was so intrigued, like, oh, those are the gypsies because you know, that was the hubbub that we always heard about. It was the gypsies that had those stores, and you go in there, and they're going to tell you, something, so you'll come back again. That kind of thing. So I was always a little, intimidated because I didn't really know what it meant to go into with the gypsies, and I didn't know what that big hand was. So like, it was so kind of intimidating because in those days, 30 years ago, you know, you didn't have the number of people doing tarot as you do today or other divinations,
hmm,
so it was sort of an oddball kind of thing that people did. Oh, those people, those are bad people because they're cavorting with spirits and all that kind of stuff back in those days. So, if you're a younger person and you coming up and you're hearing people around you, the adults around you telling you that don't go to that, that's not good, then you have some judgments.
yeah.
So,
So what was it that led you to tarot initially, and where did you come from? You grew up in Detroit?
mhm.
Did you grow up in the church, or
Uh,
because we?
Not really. I mean, yes, in the sense that when I was a child, my parents, my mother insisted that we go until we were 18. Then we could decide for ourselves. And I came up with two different religions because my father was Episcopalian, which is like the Anglican church in England. He originally wanted to be Catholic, but because he had been married before my mother and that ex-wife was still living, the Catholics wouldn't let him, so he became Episcopalian. Well, in my young days, I used to go to Catholic church with him. He got me the little Latin missal and everything. My mother, on the other hand, was a Southern Baptist. So most of the time I went to church with her. So it wasn't pressure of like growing up the church like some people do. You got to sing in the choir, you got to be in church all. It wasn't that, but it was that we had to have some spiritual food, okay,
Mhm.
as they understood it at the time, and that's what we got. My parents weren't rigid about that sort of thing. So it was just giving us, like, you get a good education, they giving us some good in their mind some good religious or
Mm,
spiritual training, you know. But of course, I couldn't stay there because oh, headline just
mm,
popped up on my screen: Detroit, Michigan. Oh, how about that?
mm,
Um, because at one point when I was about 10 years old, you know, even though I was still going there, I remember looking at the minister and thinking to myself, who is he?
yeah.
How, why should I, who, I mean, I know he's got the book and he's reading from the book here, and they say that's the book you're supposed to use, but how do I know that what he's seeing and interpreting is the right thing? Now I don't know how I'm thinking this at the age of 10, but this is what I'm thinking, and I'm like, I might know more than him. I mean, in my little mind. So it's like, why should I listen to him? I didn't say this to any adults, but
Mm,
so that was my sort of background in it. It wasn't anything very rigid. It was just to introduce us to the concept of, you know, religion, I guess, or God in general.
yeah. Well, that's interesting because it's like you didn't have a so being that you really didn't have a really rigid evangelical
Oh
upbringing
no,
that
no.
you that so when you got into things like spirit whispering that it wasn't that big of a transition. So like for me, I just started on. I've only been in the tarot for about 2 years, but I've wanted to do the tarot for a lot longer. But I had always had that, and I still have it in the back of my mind, that whole biblical prohibition against tarot,
Hmm.
against forms of divination. But it was something that I always wanted to do, but where I got like so, March is my birthday month, and 2 years ago in March,
Right?
two
Oh
years,
yeah. So you're
yeah,
fire. You're fire. You're the 22nd. That's
yeah,
what
the
I
20,
remember hearing. So
and
you're
so
Aries.
and so 2 years ago, I got the COVID, and my mom ended up in the hospital with the COVID. But and so
Oh.
while my mom was in intensive care and with the COVID,
Hmm.
I was calling people, calling relatives, and I then I called one of my aunts and was talking, and then uh, she told me about the psychics in the family, they're coming down on her grandmother's side, and I thought that she said that my great grandmother read tarot, and
Wow.
she came from they came from Sweden, and
Oh wow. I
and
lived in
and
Sweden for
yeah,
a minute.
and so that gave me the permission. I felt like my great grandmother gave me the permission to start learning tarot, to do tarot, and that's
Wow. I love that story.
yeah,
That's
and so
excellent.
yeah, and I was given permission by
Hmm.
spirit to that it was okay.
That's beautiful that you heeded that. You know,
Yeah,
because there's a lot of voices yapping at people, especially people you said that have come up in more, you know, evangelical or more. For example, I'm the oddball, if you will. There's one in every family. I'm the oddball in my family. I'm the oldest of my mother and father, and my other two of my siblings are transition are gone, but my baby sister, the one who's you know she's still there in Detroit, she's very Christian, very Christian. So my last birthday last year, I had my just like I'm doing this year. I had my bestie on, and we were just having a chat, and I said, "Oh, Lisa, why don't you come over? You know, it's my birthday." And she said, "Okay." She popped into the chat, and as soon as my friends started talking about spinning your aura and lining up your chakras, my sister was gone. She's
yeah,
like, she will never watch a tarot video because she probably thinks I'm going to hell or whatever. But that's not.
mm-hmm,
I mean, yeah, I don't care what you think.
mm-hmm,
We had that talk, but yeah, I mean, I think I'm glad, I'm grateful that I didn't have that heavy background with the church and all that. My parents always encouraged us to learn and be. So when I realized that, as my other friend says, that religion is a, what does she call it? Her mother calls it, religion is a, oh, I can't think of the word right now. It's not a trap. Religion is a, oh, I'll have to think of it. But it's kind of like, anyway, I can't think of it now. But when I discovered that, I went on my journey, so I
Mhm.
went down all kind of spiritual paths, you know,
Mhm.
to get to where I am now in terms of looking at, and my friend Jasmine, the one I'm talking about, she said, all these things you've done. I went to Islam and Sufism. I was Buddhist. I was Hindu. I was in the African traditional religions. I was in so many different meditation paths. I was just finding my way. And she said, I think you're trying to remember what you already know. And that
Um,
like was like ding, 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 because I know I've done all this before. But you're
Mhm.
back here again and fresh with no memory. So you're trying to find your way. And I just knew
Mhm.
it wasn't somebody telling me these are the rules, this is how you have to do it, whoever it is, and this is the book you have to use. And I just wasn't out that kind of a spirit, that kind of a being. So I couldn't stay in any of these things, you know. But they were
Mhm.
great because I learned a lot. I learned a lot about
Like,
myself and about different ways of viewing the universe, different ways of looking at God, if you will, to use that. I call it the divine, different ways to do it, and nobody could tell you you weren't doing it the
well,
right way.
because
Hmm.
all of that stuff doesn't exist beyond this world. So there
Not
are
the
things like
form.
we have in the human super consciousness. The All the religion of this world, they exist only in this world here. They don't exist in any other world. They're just here. At least that's how I see it. I know maybe I'm seeing
What's
wrong, but
just here? I didn't miss that. What's just here?
what I feel is that it all this stuff exists only here on Earth, and it does not
Hmm.
exist beyond this.
Hmm.
It doesn't exist beyond the body, and
I agree.
so religion is part of the body, but it's supposed to point the way to the soul. But where religion gets off stray is when it thinks that this is the soul and this is all you need to know. So it's the whole concept of let's say sola scriptura, because I studied Bible in graduate school or went in theology,
Ah,
and
oh,
so
nice.
you have with faith alone, solo fide, uh, scripture alone, or faith in scripture. It's just the scripture alone, and so there are some is that it's that with. So when I was where I also am an oddball, where I kind of got in trouble is because I didn't believe in scriptura sola scriptura.
Hmm.
I
Hey, that's
believe I didn't believe in that, and so I was. People were like, some people were saying, "Was Bill? I don't understand you. I don't get how can you make these leaps of logic and whatever? How do you do that?" And I said, "Well, it's because I don't see the Bible as any different than any other book."
yeah. That's a whole that's a whole conversation. You start talking to people about their holy books, whichever ones they are. Okay,
Yeah,
so it could be the Bible, it could be the Quran, it could be the Buddhist sutras, it could be the Jewish Torah, whatever they are. Don't talk to people about their holy books because they get real upset. But I
well, yeah,
get you. I'm with you
yeah.
on that. One
Or
hundred.
yeah, or like when I was in college and I was like using Eric von Daniken's Chariots of the Gods as part of source material and thinking, well, it could have come from the aliens. I mean, if there are aliens, well, why not?
There's
I mean,
something, don't you think?
actually, we would think they were like gods and so forth. And so
Oh,
why
well,
don't so
yeah.
I took the liberty of making the mountains over here sort of a silvery gray color.
Okay.
While
Mr.
while you're
Caretaker.
talking, and I put a light yellow over the foliage. So what do you want the the foliage and all this other stuff to be because we can layer in other colors on top of all this.
Well, it gotta have something provocative. I want some orange in there somewhere, like a
Okay, because we
bold
have
orange.
bold orange. All right, bold orange.
Yeah, I don't know what you got,
What's
but
that? What was that? That somebody said I was opening up a can of worms. Um,
okay. Where your let's see, is that your right? Your right thumb is no,
there's oh,
not that thumb.
there's only one thumb here.
Well, okay, the one that's on the bottom.
Yeah, yeah, these colors here.
Yeah,
The
choose from those. Choose from those.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. And okay. So
What a little project this is. Interesting.
so you want that orange in these all these treetops and everything here. We don't want like you don't want like water here like maybe the water used to be in the rivers in that part of the country where you're from where you could light a match and then it would burn like in the riverways.
Oh, you do. I don't know, Elizabeth. What do you think? If you're still here, I mean, I can see it because this is a fantasy, right? Because
It's a
it's.
fantasy. It is a fantasy, yeah. Because
Hmm.
it is not really we're not thinking about
I would say that little bit of strip there in front of him. There's a little line of demarcation there where the water. Yeah, that little strip, not the
yeah.
water itself, but there. Yeah, put the
Yeah.
orange there.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah.
tell you, I got no artistic bent that way, but I'm just
Well,
going with.
we're not really talking about that. That's not the important thing here. You have to remember because there is no there's part of that stuff is over here too because I look at the um it is not about what is accurate. It's about what is accurate for you in this moment, and that's
Mhm.
the thing of this.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
contrast. That body of water needs to have a special color, but I can't even begin to tell you what it should be.
do you want one of the
Something
metallic colors?
darker.
Darker?
Yeah, but I don't know what. I like that orange. That's nice.
Hmm. Kind of
No
like one of
orange
the
trees, Bill. That would be nuclear fallout, John said.
no, no, because we get orange trees in the fall. You can
Well, you
get
get
all
orange
those.
leaves.
Yeah, well, and it would also mean these are trees that the those creamsicles grow on.
Oh, the
Those
fantasist. Okay.
orange ice cream trees. These are orange ice cream trees.
Oh, I got it. Okay, gotcha. All
Yeah.
right. Have it your way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I'll just,
Uh-oh,
yeah.
you're fading away. What happened to your voice, or is it me?
Nuclear.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah. It's that whole echo thing that I was talking about.
Oh,
Anyways, so what about I'm still working on here. I'm layering in some different colors.
I love that orange. That's nice.
Yeah, got that
Yeah.
orange. And what about the trees?
Hmm. Where are the trees? I don't even see any trees.
Right here.
Over there? I guess make them brown, I guess.
Brown? Okay, I got brown.
Deep brown.
And sienna. Here's a nice sienna here. Okay, so now what about let's go over to a different question altogether.
Okay.
What about YouTube do you like and dislike?
You too?
Yeah, just YouTube itself. What do you know about the process of doing YouTube? What about it do you like and dislike?
As an entity, I love that YouTube exists because it's making accessible to the average Joe and Jill a way to express themselves. For that,
Mhm.
I think YouTube rocks. What I don't like about YouTube is their censoring and things of that nature. If you don't follow the party line or the script of what they want you to say, you might be censored, you might be disconnected. I've seen people lose their channels. I detest that. But that's a whole nother thing. Now, about the process of using YouTube, it's all right. I don't like what I don't like really, and that would go for any of these social sites. That would be their algorithm thing. When I
Yeah.
used to be on Facebook, it used to bother me that I couldn't see all my friends.
Hmm.
That they were only going to select a few to show me on the news feed, you know, and I couldn't, I want the right to be able to see all my friends, and you're deciding who's worthy of me. I don't like that because I'm a freedom loving person. So I don't like
Hmm.
anything that impinges upon that. And so for me, the social media sites, I detest them. It's like I detest those. I detest all these things because you're trying to control people and tell people what to do. I don't like that,
Yeah.
especially for the country that I come from, which is the country you live in, because we're supposed to represent. Other
Hmm.
people may not do it that way, but we're supposed to represent in terms of freedom.
Hmm.
So, yeah, YouTube extrapolated down to YouTube because that is something that is annoying to me. But as a vehicle, I think there's nothing beats it. You know, we've got all other kinds of alternate sites as well, and I belong to some of those sites, but nothing can get next to YouTube. And the fact that YouTube makes it, I don't have availability to it, but for some people, when you reach a certain level, they make it
Hmm.
available for you to even earn income
Yeah.
through that. Although I hear it's not a lot. I mean, unless you got millions of people, but still, it's a nice thing. It's a nice thing they do, and I think that I like that a lot very much. Other than
Yeah.
that, it's not a big deal. I make my videos on another platform. I upload them to YouTube and just fill in a few, this is the name, this is what it is. And
So then, what other platforms are you on?
oh, I'm on Rumble, I'm on BitChute. I used to be on some other ones as far as video platforms,
So how does
because
how do you like
hmm,
Rumble? I've like looked at Rumble
Rumble's
before.
good.
Is it?
Rumble's getting better. It's getting better. It's going to be able to compete really nicely with YouTube. It's very much better. And that's a lot of people have gone there because a lot of, like I say, because of the censoring that YouTube participates in. Like if you just one step aside from whatever the mainstream propaganda view is,
Hmm.
then, you're liable to be, they call something they have called shadow banning, where they just
Yeah.
don't show your video. They don't give you a letter or anything or cut you off. They just don't show your video to a number of people. So it's just all
Mm.
kind of things. I don't like that. That's games, and I just don't like it. But
Hmm.
I put myself in other situations because when I was telling you when I was channeling, I got the whole message about COVID before it came. A
Yeah.
year before it came, and so and I in the beginning I was talking about my thoughts about it. I never got any trouble about it, but I saw how people reacted to the view that I had it. When I was talking, when I was on Facebook, and I'm like, this is some crazy, this is some craziness here. But I already knew about it when it came out. I recognized it, and
I see.
so and I got a whole bunch of predictions and things like that. And this is the reason I stopped doing the channeling because for one thing, I kind of don't want to know, you know. And on
Yeah.
one thing, I want to be present where I am, and I want to decide what my life is going to be. I don't want it to be colored in by the fear that comes, that's rampant on this planet, that comes
Yeah.
from people telling you, be afraid, be very afraid. I don't want that. So I stopped listening to it because I remember one day I got up, so I used to get up in the morning and ask for predictions or ask for things. And one morning I said, "Is this all there is? Bad news? I don't." I would see people running in the Middle East getting shot, and I would just get all this information, and I just didn't want it. And so I said, "You know what?
Your phone
I'm
for a
not."
second.
Oh, I did. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I just didn't want to do it anymore. So Um, I rather just understand what the world is, what it means, how I can understand it. I rather decide that I have agency over my life, that nobody has the power over me. It's a God given thing, and all given it. And I just don't believe in taking orders from somebody telling them that they're my daddy when I know my daddy. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
and yeah. Anyway, I'm telling you this. The way I'm talking to you now, that's what I do when I'm on my rambles, which I do on my
Oh, okay.
channel. So,
So
yeah, I talk
have
a lot
you
about that because I believe that people have the right to decide all kinds of things, and about who they are and what they want to do because your choices have consequences. You decide whether you want to, live or die on any particular hill. And so when somebody gets in the way and tells you, no, you must think about it this way or you must do it this way, I balk at that because no, I don't. you know, I don't. I really could get carried away on this. So give me another question, please, if you
okay?
would.
So we have the water. What do you think of the? I've got all we have left here is I did went to the trees and I put a whole bunch of multicolors in there, so it
Oh,
looks
that's
like it's a
nice.
fall kind of scene. And then so what we got is this thing and the water left.
Hmm. Hmm. What color should the water be, somebody? I haven't been reading the chat, so I don't know what folks are saying, but what color should the water be? I don't know who has a
So
great eye for
well,
for
what do you well what does this white space whisper to you that it wants to be?
white.
Just white,
Mhm.
really? Okay, well
Mhm.
we can leave it white.
Maybe
Maybe
if you
I
have
will.
slight little bit of silver that or gold, that would be
I
nice.
do. I do have some gold. We could do some of that. One of those other questions that I kind of warned you about.
Oh, what? I don't remember.
All right, if if you had corporate sponsorship, what kind of product would you like to sponsor on your channel and
Mm.
why?
Wow, that's interesting because that never has occurred to me. The product, it wouldn't be a product like a material product. It would
It
be
could
a
be what
product like, hmm,
could be whatever product you might think it might be. It's just something if it would be like, okay, what would you like to sell on your channel? If you could sell something other than, you know, something like
other than
that.
tarot, mental health.
Mental health.
Hmm.
Okay.
That's that's a very important issue, in my humble opinion. It's a very important issue that we all, in some form or fashion, are touched with. It's definitely an issue in my family, and we don't know enough about it. And I think oftentimes that people have, have judged people um, in a way that it's because they're ignorant and they don't have information about what's going on with someone. So, for example, how do you know? Because when we're kids and we're looking at, even as adults, you see the man coming down the street and he's just talking to himself, right? He's having a full-on
Mhm.
conversation with somebody you can't see. How do we know that he's not engaged in some? I mean, now I can think of this, but before I'd be like, that man is crazy, because I couldn't, there's nobody he's talking to that we could see, but we need to be open to understanding it in a broader way. That maybe he's having a
Mhm.
conversation with a spirit, with an angel, with something else, maybe
Yeah.
not a good spirit, but that because we need to expand our way of understanding what is happening with the mind and we don't know enough about it. So for me, if somebody were doing that kind of work, really legitimate, really embracing that understanding of mental health with even as a spiritual as a part of spiritual growth to understand it or something in that way. Like I said, it wouldn't be a product. I wouldn't be touting Nike shoes or somebody's lipstick or I don't care about those things, you know. So
Mhm.
it would be something like that to me, or something psychological. Maybe people helping people love themselves, finding ways to appreciate the uniqueness of their being. Nobody's like you on the planet, and that's hell of a. And not enough people know that, because enough of us learn that we should understand our value based on how others think of us and react to us. So if somebody were going to product sponsor me, that's what they'd have to be about.
I
Does that
see.
answer your question?
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I just this ooh yeah. I'm gonna keep myself from going off.
No, no, that's fine. Because
No, 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 because I don't want to extend this too long. But
well, we're going really fast, and so yeah, we are actually, because a lot of times the conversation has gone close to 2 hours, and we're close to 90 minutes, and so it would
oh
be
wow,
yeah. So why don't we go over to this in this spot here, and
the background of that spot is red,
red,
and the
bright red.
foreground, those whatever they are, bones or whatever they look like bones to me. Make them yellow.
So okay, I'll make it yellow.
Hmm.
So bright red and then yellow because they were kind of flowers, but that's fine.
Oh, they're flowers.
Oh,
Okay, yellow. Yeah, yellow would be good. Hmm.
this has been a delightful conversation.
I have
And so,
enjoyed it. I think you are most interesting. You're so creative, and I like the way you think, Bill. You're
mhm.
very smart. I like the way you think. I like thinking people. I don't care who you are. I like people who use their minds, who ask questions, who probe, who think beyond the surface of things. And so I can really appreciate you in that way. You're cool.
So yeah, yeah, you have a because see my this is my third YouTube channel, and I'm about ready to open up my fourth YouTube channel, but it's
Uh,
there's some technical. Yeah, this
what
is
were
my
your
third.
other two?
First one, the first two were doing poetry. Um,
Oh, love
they
it.
never they never got very far. So like when I was working graveyard as that cocktail server on my days off, well, I put sets in the barn, and I would pretend like I was doing open mic poetry and stuff like that, and I did a whole bunch of different things. I had this one series of shows called the Chapel of Poetry, and so I bought a costume for that, which I bought a priest shirt with the little check in the thing, and I would stand up on there and do this Chapel of Poetry thing, and here we worship the poets of our world here in the Chapel of Poetry, and then I read poems from my friends, my poet friends, and or some other famous poets like maybe.
Nice. We don't have enough. I mean, we got a lot of poets, but people just don't appreciate poets, you
Oh yeah,
know?
exactly. So it's like I go back and I look at those videos. They're all private, but I go back and look at them and thinking, wow, I can't even stand to watch these videos. I wonder
Aw.
that if anybody else, because they were kind of boring and whatever. There was a lot of you know I don't know what about anyway, but I can see why those channels were failures. But but then I started this channel. I wanted it to be more like a talk show. That's what I originally
Oh,
was
okay.
a talk show. And I had like in my mind, I had like Art Bell. I had
Oh. I used to listen to Art Bell. He has
yeah.
a lot.
So I had talk show in mind. I'm thinking, wow, wouldn't it? But how to do you know, calling would be great, but then it's just like I don't have the cash to do nobody stuff like that. But talk radio, because I love talk radio, and especially like the Art Bell and doing stuff that was um kind of just out there, more ethereal and more.
I just like people who are creative, you know,
Yeah.
who have these great creative ideas. Because sometimes I'm a little bit, I feel like I'm lacking for those, I'm so left brained at times. It's like, no, this you got to do it like this. So somebody like you, or somebody like Ange, or somebody like Lila, very creative people, very creative. I so respect and admire that, because I would like to allow myself to feel a little freer to be, you
Well,
know,
you
I'm
got that kind of
creative. Don't
feel.
get me wrong. I'm a writer. I'm a singer. I'm an actor. But that's creative. But I mean to allow myself to just, like you're doing now, present
Mhm.
that, to the public in such a way. And you might see your first channel as a failure, but you shouldn't, in my humble opinion. You shouldn't look at it like that. You just have grown, and you shouldn't despise where you began. You should be proud of yourself.
I don't. I kind of look at it like, okay, when I lived up in Seattle,
Oh, I live there
and
too.
I lived on Capitol Hill the
I
whole
worked on Capitol Hill.
the whole 8 years that I was there. My first when I went moved up there, I was essentially kind of homeless, and my buddy, my childhood friend, he had just been going through a divorce, and he invited me up because to from Oregon to have a better opportunity. It was like right after the 9/11 crash of the economy, and so how bad that is, but then, Oregon has always been kind of hard to find jobs and everything. It's easier now, but coming out of the 80s, coming out of the Reagan revolution, and I graduated from high school in the mid 80s,
Hmm.
and then gone into, what did mill work, and 'cause my father owned and operated a lumber mill. And did you want to do anything with the hands? One of the things I've done with this is kind of left the one of the themes that I've done here is had
Oh, that's pretty.
gone with like the Indian gods being blue, and having skin tones that were like this kind of like Indian
Yeah,
god.
the Hindu gods.
Like this one is like all silver for the pool. I could do something
I
like
hadn't thought
that,
of it.
and maybe like this metallic green, or
No,
and
I think you can leave him just like he is, because
I will.
it's a nice contrast,
Yeah,
to the other colors.
yeah.
Stands out in a nice way. Like if you made it tan or gray or brown, it would be on the level of the same. Now I don't even know what I'm saying with this, but it would be on the same level of like intensity. I don't know,
Yeah.
of colors, and the white stands out. So leave him as he is.
So maybe okay. And so, mill work and stuff like that, and
Hmm.
it was hard. I'm putting a little bit of a yellow aura around this guy,
Okay.
all the way around, because I felt like it needed that. He had this little energy field all the way around him here,
Hmm.
and mostly also because I'm not quite ready to let go of this conversation.
Oh, that's so
Yeah,
nice. Well, you're
yeah,
a nice person to talk to, honestly, because I know you have, like I said, I saw that video you did about the poem about Art Bell. I was so impressed. It was so good. And then
yeah.
I saw another video, and the camera was going in different, and I was just, you did it in such a creative way. And I just thought, that is so cool, and you were
Mhm.
just being yourself, free to be yourself. And I love it. I think everybody should be free to be,
Yeah.
and, some of us hold ourselves back.
Hmm.
Talking about myself now, so I respect and admire it, and I like to encourage it. And thank you for that, because I'm enjoying conversation with you too. I'm always mindful about who's, you know, who's out there, and I've noticed before you're talking a lot to me, but I noticed in the one that I saw before, you were talking more with the audience, or you were interacting more with your listeners. So I don't want them to feel neglected because you're
Well,
giving me all your wonderful attention and
I
energy right
do
now.
that. I do that when I do that when I'm on my own because I can
Hmm.
track the chat. But right, this level of
Oh, okay.
multitasking is a bit too much multitasking for me to track
Oh,
the
I
chat.
I can't
And
do it
also,
either, Bill.
and
I
also
can't
the
do that multitasking.
and also the camera is I'm looking down and the camera is right at the same level as my eyeballs.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So that's kind of where
Okay. I just said it, so that's okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I want to ask about the Rumble again because I was thinking about Rumble myself a few years ago, but then what kind of threw me off is that I saw all these gun ads and that reminded me of when I first started watching YouTube like in 2008 or something like that, that there was lots of gun ads at that and
I guess I haven't noticed it, but I'm not bothered by it, so I still don't notice it. I guess you know.
so yeah
Uh,
that was like well, I
everybody's
don't
got
know.
to, everybody's gonna look for ways to promote their businesses and their,
Yeah,
uh, what they do. So they're gonna advertise. I remember, when I was growing up, this is totally different. But on TV, we used to see ads for cigarettes.
yeah,
People were smoking. This is how old I am. People were smoking on television and they were convincing you, even your doctor recommends you get a camel or whatever. I mean, I can't remember what they were. But, so, now they have to find other ways to sell their products. But in those days, they had access to that same kind of media advertising. So the gun people have the same right, in my humble opinion, to do so.
yeah,
You know, um, I do, I will just, the things that I don't like that I don't see them on Rumble, but I've seen little things here and there. I've heard about it on Facebook and Instagram and things like that. It's the backdoor stuff, or you kind of
the,
call it the deep web stuff, really, when it comes to children. Now, I'll just leave it at that,
okay,
because I don't like that mess. You know,
yeah,
I don't like that mess, but yet people find ways to do it. That's a whole nother thing that I could just rant on because
yeah,
I've seen some of these mothers lately out there promoting their teenage daughters to like pose in bathing suits and stuff supposedly, but if you pay a certain fee behind the scenes, you can get, more little, I don't
mm,
know, peekaboo shots or something.
yeah,
I don't
okay,
know. What mother would don't even let me get started on that. But anyway, so yeah, everybody's out there just trying to hustle, I guess. Some of it it's
yeah,
not copacetic. Maybe for you it's the guns, but for me that's okay. You know.
hmm. Well, I mean, I don't have anything. I mean, I don't really have anything
One day I
against.
hope to learn how to shoot one. If I ever come back to the United States, I think I'm gonna,
Mm.
learn how to do it. Never know if we might have to become self-sufficient one day.
I, I,
With
I,
no
I,
food.
I own guns. I mean, I own guns. I mean, but I own a which where I inherited. Well, my dad gave me a 223 bolt action hunting rifle when I was 15, and
Wow.
and
See?
and then I inherited from him a 22 rifle and another 22. And then I've only really bought one firearm in my life, and I bought a air rifle, a vermint gun, um, a
What?
pellet
A
gun.
vermin?
I bought a pellet gun because I
Mm-hmm.
had in 2020 I was overrun with squirrels, and I had like 20 or 30 squirrels
Shoot
on the
rats.
property. And then the neighbor had many of 'em, all these squirrels. It was like a plague of squirrels, and
Ugh.
I didn't want them to get in the house because like my one of my neighbors is a general contractor, and he talked about horror stories of going down to the coast and rebuilding somebody's house after a squirrel got in the attic and was like chewing on the power cords and pissing on everything and
Ugh.
everything. And then having to spend like $100,000 to go fix their house because of what happens when a squirrel gets in the walls and gets in the attic, and then how to get them out of there. So it's just like, okay, well, I like the little buggers; they're really cute. But I was trapping them with a live trap. But then there's one of them. They got in to the trap, but then they found their way out of the trap, and so they were able to not open the door back up again. I thought, oh crap, I'm sunk now. If if I can't live trap these things and move them to somewhere else, I'm sunk. I'm gonna have to. How do I control this population? So then that's when I went out and I bought a pellet gun, an air rifle.
Mm.
And but
Yeah.
I never actually used it on them. And I never really used it on an animal, and so it didn't come to that. So I was able to get rid of. I got the population from what 20 down to like four of those
Mhm.
squirrels, and that's what the
Okay.
population is now. And so anyways, and so I as far as like firearms are concerned, I live in a rural area. I
Mhm.
don't know
You do.
anybody who doesn't own a firearm.
Wow. You know what?
Yeah,
I've never even seen one. But
you
I
never even
decided
seen them, but yeah.
I've never even seen one because that would have been we would never have. I mean, we didn't have those in my house as I grew up, and I just never thought I would ever want to see one or touch one. But a couple of years ago, I said, you know what? It could be good to know, just like you might learn kung fu. It could be good to learn how to shoot because this
Hmm.
we don't know where we're headed with craziness. So you might need it for protection. You might need it to get your own food, whatever. And I just decided that that might be something I actually, well, I'm not in the U.S., but if I were there, that might be something I actually do just for my own, like, edification, my
Yeah.
own awareness, knowledge, and try it and see. Not to go out with the idea that, people always give you that thing. Um, what do they say? Guns kill people or what? Yeah,
It's
and
not.
a lot of other things. But, they can also just wound people. But
Yeah,
actually, it's people who actually do it. The gun of itself is just an item that can be used in different ways.
yeah.
So
It's
I finally figured that out. Yeah,
people kill people, not guns. All
yeah,
right. So
exactly.
that's me. I haven't actually
Nice.
come out on this channel and to say that I own a firearm, but
Well,
it's like I
you just
say,
have.
I don't. We live in the rural areas, and everyone owns a firearm.
Probably has
It's
one.
just a
Yeah,
part of, at least like but I know that some of my neighbors own more. I know some of them own assault rifles. I don't want any of that, but
I don't know the
I
difference.
have what I have, and it has a functional purpose. And though, I tried hunting when I was a kid, but I killed a deer once, and that was so traumatic that I couldn't do it again.
Well, here's something to put in your mind. And I'm looking at a tropical empress as Althea. I think it's smart and being self-reliant. Yes, because you never know for be able to protect yourself and also to get your own food. Now, here's the thing I want to say about that. You could as well be driving down the highway and hit a deer,
Yes.
okay, with your car.
I've done that.
And you wouldn't have intended to do it, but let's just say that happened. And
Mhm.
so you have to make peace with the idea of the cycle of life. You also have to do what I think indigenous people did, you know, it's because of the way we live our lives. We're so like cut off, from each other and from other forms of life. There's that sense with indigenous people, or at least there was, of the sort of I am you, you are me, and a spiritual exchange is what I'm trying to say. You're not just going out there just like, hey, I'm gonna get this one and get this one and this one. It's almost like a communication. It's a level of respect. I think there's a way to look at it that I can't say I know because I haven't don't have one and haven't yet had to do that. But I think I would have to understand it in a spiritual way. like I told you earlier. That's how I
Mm.
walk through my life that way. And
Well,
that this is the world that we live in. This is why, and no offense to the vegetarians, but this is why gets me because people say you can't do that. But everything in this so-called reality is a feeds on something else.
it does.
Everything. So
It
even
does.
vegetarians are eating life. They're killing life to eat it. Okay, it's just that we
Yeah.
decide that maybe a dog's life has more value than a
Plenty.
rhododendron, or a person has more value than, a grown up has more value than a deer, or whatever we decide. That's part of the problem with the world that we live. That's a whole nother thing too.
Well,
But it's
then,
like I think you can change that so that you don't walk with guilt and understand that, you know, you
yeah,
didn't do it like I'm going to take your life and kill you or whatever. You maybe you had there was some reason that you did it. Make peace, and if you did do it and didn't give thought, forgive yourself for that. Forgive yourself for that. That's how I feel about it. It's like, ugh. Anyway, I'm just going to temper it down a little bit because I feel free to be like this on my own channel, but even there, I try and I have a lot of views, a lot of strong opinions, and
yeah.
you know,
Well, yeah. Anyways, I wanted to say hello to Amanda. I haven't seen Amanda here on my channel for a while, and I wanted to know if
yes,
Amanda, Tropical Empress Tarot or Spirit, if she would like to sometime come on this channel as a guest to do a coloring of the tarot, and if you would like to do that, I do have a email address for my channel, and you may have actually seen it in your
come on, Tropical
email
Empress.
before, and I want to write that down. I haven't written it down
Hi,
multiple
Fatima.
times.
Hi, Fatima. Hi,
Doesn't seem to
Alexis.
be.
I didn't see you guys because I haven't been reading the chat just occasionally.
Yeah. So, Amanda, if you'd like to come on my show sometime, this is my email address. It's the.999show at gmail. So it's the.999show at gmail. And so I'm open to having all kinds of guests. Yeah. So
Everybody, bring everybody from the audience on. Bring
yeah.
everybody. Let's party.
So I'll send you another email, or you can just email me, Amanda, at the.999show at gmail.com, and that is my show email. And so that's open to other folks out there. I know that John Savage does stuff, but he's not interested in. He's anyway. I'm not gonna say anything.
You've
I'm not gonna
already
say
said it.
anything
You've
more.
already said it, Bill.
I
Oh,
said it. I
Lila
said it.
said,
But I like that John comes in. He's in, and especially that one show where I had to spin the bottle episode, because that was actually a really great one. Did you come in on that one? Were you in
I
that
didn't
one?
know about spin the bottle, but that sounds intriguing. Mm.
Well, I have a bottle, and and it was a and a bunch of blocks, and I had my blocks in my little bottle, and I spun it, and each one of the blocks was representing and I had it represent a particular oracle card for this Mother
Ooh,
Mary
I love that Mother
oracle deck.
Mary. I love Mother Mary.
Yeah, and I like that. I just love this one too, because I'm being that a where I grew up as a Lutheran and then became a Catholic,
Hmm.
and I haven't. I decided, and so I have a lot of
Well, that's
Mother
the one we
Mary
have
things.
here in South America,
Mm.
La Virgen
Yeah,
de Guadalupe,
yeah, the Mary of
Mexico.
Guadalupe, and
Hmm.
yeah, and so. I really identify with that aspect of of Christianity, of your when you have the saints and the ancestor worship aspect of it.
Uh,
And
oh, you don't like it or you do like it?
no, I do like it.
I
The
like the
things that I
saints and the
know,
ancestors. Yeah.
yeah. Well, hello, spiritual rain.
Hi,
Spiritual
spiritual
rain.
rain.
I may have to reschedule our thing on the 18th because my mother has a doctor appointment on that day, and so
Those
but we
cards are
may but
great.
I have to see here. I haven't really decided yet. So anyways, so
And
this is
how's somebody else? Hi, Care Bear, Bard of Cards.
yeah, I'm going to be
And
going on her channel. This is actually a nice one.
those cards are gorgeous. I got to get my hands on that deck somehow, someday, some way.
So
Um,
this is the pocket version. The reviews talked
oh,
about it
that's
has just a
beautiful.
brief meaning on the back of the card, and the reviews on it said that with the full size one, it had this big giant book in it, and they said, well, okay, the pocket one seemed to be better because the message was it was easier to get at the message than
Mm.
going with the big giant book. And then
Um,
yeah,
Bill, Amanda said that you should email her because she might forget. So I don't know if you know.
well,
I saw her
I
flash by.
all I know is her channel email, and I will
Yeah, just ask.
email her again.
Hmm.
Yeah,
What else did I miss? I missed. I did. I say. I said, Alexis. I hope you heard me say hi to you. I'm not even looking at this chat hardly because I'm focused on. I want to be focused on Bill and what he's
yeah.
doing. So I have not. I've been derelict in keeping up with the chat. But I
So
did
so
say.
yeah.
I did hear Lila say she. What did she say? I missed it. Something about she couldn't shoot an animal. She'd rather eat leaves or something like that. I
Well,
don't know.
a
She
lot
just
of
made.
people are
I love
there.
her so much, huh?
I I kind of like in feeling like I like to cook as one of my hobbies, and I feel like being able to cook vegan is a survival skill. Being able to cook at all is a survival skill, and knowing how to feed yourself and to put stuff together so that you don't
Yeah,
starve to death is is a huge survival skill. Now the hunting part of it is something that I
might
haven't
be
wasn't able to do, and
might be a
but
survival skill yet. You never know.
but you're right, and then it would be then I would have to go see if those shells, those gun shells that I have that are 20, 30 years old, if they still work or not. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to go out and buy some more ammunition, both 22 caliber and 223 caliber.
Well,
And but yeah. Anyways, it's like that's that, and
ooh, root
that's
canal.
stuff out there in the world that yeah. Anyways, this
Um,
has been a. I'm
Amanda
gonna.
has given you her email in the chat, so don't forget to go back and read through the chat so you can get her email,
Okay.
Bill.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe Amanda, you could go down onto my community post and the last community post I get, and then just put the email in there. And I'm going to turn the camera around and shoot it at my face here.
All right. That picture is nice. You did a really good job. Really nice.
Wait, we want to. Okay, that's the
In your hand
ceiling.
now. There you are. Love
So,
that shirt. That's a great shirt.
yeah. All right. And there we go. We have it, and I
Ooh.
got my spam hat on because that's my favorite food.
Oh, are
I
you
mean, who
serious?
doesn't?
I could never make myself even try.
Yeah.
Kids
So
used to
here's
eat that a lot when we were kids, but I never ate it.
so that's what we got here. I
It's
think this is what
beautiful. It's
he's got. And
beautiful.
he's got that. got like a little energy field around them, which spilled out onto the ground,
Lovely.
and
Maybe
got
you
all
take
these.
maybe you take a little picture and send it to me.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll take a picture
Yes,
and send
nice
it to you.
memorabilia of my time with you today, which I have really
Yeah,
enjoyed. And thank you so much for having me onto your show today, Bill.
yeah,
Wonderful.
and then yeah, yeah, and we'll. And then, as I said, I had just kind of said that I was opening up a fourth channel,
Hmm.
and that one I will be doing divination on. This one is going to stay like a variety
Art.
show.
Oh, variety show.
Um,
Okay.
so,
Well, we'll follow you over there too. So at
well,
least
I
you'll have
will.
a few of us.
So, in a sense, we'll start with. I'm really kind of wanting to do the whole thing of seeing about streaming from zero
Oh
to
well.
see what happens.
I
I
don't
mean,
know that I'd repeat this thing. I did open a second channel for about 6 months, and I'm like, I just don't have the energy to put into two channels. So
there
I
is that.
should.
And so, because
Hmm.
I've been doing a lot of multitasking on this channel, and between like I do. There's a store that I sell some of my art in the forms of cards.
4 channels.
And fourth channel.
Spiritual Rain has 4 channels. She says
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
lot of work.
she's pretty
Woo!
and so
Y'all make me
this
tired. Oh,
this
that's gorgeous.
so that's a card here. Now I sell cards at a like an artist co-op, and this is one of my new designs.
Oh, wow.
And,
Really nice, Bill. Wow.
I've
So
been
those like greeting cards that you can write inside, or what do you mean?
blank greeting cards. So
Oh, that's
this is
really
I'm
cool.
trying to repeat the design. So I do them multiple. I do the images over and over and over and over and over again, and so they're not like. So I come up with a design, and then I just go with it, and I keep doing them different each time. They're not maybe they're hand done.
Beautiful. The colors. See, that's what I'm talking about. Those colors. Wow. So do you sell your products like just at an art show, or do you like sell them like if somebody wanted like if I wanted to get some from you and send them to my friend there in Oregon, could you do that? Because she likes
Well,
cards. Do you,
international.
not international, in Oregon. She lives in Oregon.
If she does, yeah, I could send her some.
My bestie.
That would be like I would. Uh, what
Thank
that
you.
would be is I could make you for sending to Oregon. I could send make. I would do like 20 for $150,
Wow. Okay, well,
and
it'll take me a minute on
so
that.
20, 20 for $150 shipped anywhere in the United States.
Yes.
Outside of the United States,
No.
then
Mm-mm.
that's a it's like
It's
because
all
I
right.
shipped something. Because I shipped something several years ago to the Philippines, and it cost like $100 just for the shipping
No, no,
for
I don't
something.
want. It's hard enough to get stuff here. With
Yeah,
coming in, I have to wait for people coming and traveling, and it's too much. So yeah,
yeah.
it wouldn't be outside. I think I saw. What did she say? Amanda. She does several stream hours each night. Oh my gosh, I can't do it. I don't know how you all find the energy or the
Well,
time. It's like right now.
Amanda, for Amanda, this is her primary job,
But
and so
still,
she is on for you. She's on for sometimes upwards of the maximum that you can stream for is 12 hours or 11 hours and 59 minutes, and
wow,
so
no, no can do.
she'll she'll open that stream up and she'll be on the whole time, but she'll take breaks. She'll
Wow,
take breaks whenever she
that's
feels it, but
intense.
she'll just leave. Yeah, so she's a real big worker bee,
Hats off
and
to you guys, because that will not be me any day.
Well, I have a tendency to that could be me, but I also I caregive for my mother who's 85, and so
Son,
you know,
what a good
telling
son.
her that I'm going to be on for 2 hours, and then it's like, why so long? Or then then I've had to say, well, you can't be barging in while I'm doing one of my shows. She has done, and he said, well, now it's time to hang up. It's time to quit. You know.
Well, yeah, you're a
Yeah.
good son. You're a good son that you take care of your mom. That's great. That's so wonderful.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are not that, you know.
Well, one of my lights just burned out, so we are at the uh yeah 18 hour. Yeah, she's a real trooper. But I understand that that drive to produce work, and so like you have like April is poetry month, and the first time it was like one poem a day, but then the next time I did it, I think, oh, I wonder how many poems I can write in a day, and so it's like, oh, 3, 5 poems. Oh yeah, I can do write write a whole poetry manuscript in less than a month. I could do that. You
Wow.
know,
Bless you,
you
man.
know,
What's the thing they
just
have every year? Nano writers, I think. Nano.
that's the
I
that's
did
a
that one. I didn't do the novel, but I did their little thing. They had these like 20 days posting a blog or something every day. It was
yeah,
something. It was like that wore me out. Just that.
yeah. I don't participate in the. Well, I actually I've never been successful in writing a novel. I wanted to when I was writing, because when I was living up in Seattle, I visited almost every single open mic in the city of Seattle and outside of it, and so I did spoken word poetry on the order of
Wow.
I did it on the order of 2.5 open mics a week that I attended. So like one week it was
Wow.
3, and the next week it was 2. And then I organized a writers group, at which we met like 10 months out of the year, once a month, and we would just bring our writing, and then we would it was a critique group. And then I taught writers workshops at Seattle Central Community College.
Mhm.
And then I started in my last year when I was unemployed when I did a lot of this stuff, because it was after the 2008 crash, and I at that time I was working as a bookkeeper at a door and window store, and that door and window store didn't survive the crash of 2008. It made it to 2010, and then it closed.
Well, you.
And then I was trying to get work, and I couldn't get work, and then I ended up having to move back to Oregon. But it because it was like, okay, I have a choice. I got 2 more months of unemployment, or I can stay here and become homeless, or I go home. And so I went home.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a
And
good choice.
then so what? And so in my last, when I was there, I did a writer's circle, which was kind of an interest where we would meet at different locations, and we would write for like 10 or 15 minutes and then read what we'd written. And so maybe we'd like go to a bus station and
Mhm.
go see what the environment would give you, or go down to like Westlake Mall, and or go down to Pike's Market, or go into a museum, or go here, go in there, go into a hotel, or go into the park, or go ride on a bus and see what the bus gave you. What energy did the bus give you?
Mhm.
In different things, and so you'll be open to, there's the prompts, but you're also open to the environment. And then what I did notice about that whole experiment was that every time it was like this. I don't know if anyone else noticed it, but I noticed it, that one, there was an enhancement of creativity amongst everybody there, and two, there was always like another person who was present. There was this other spirit that was present all the time. So if there was two of us that gathered, it was really like there was three of us.
Mm.
It was four, it was five. There was always an extra person present at that meeting every single time. It was very spiritual in a sense. Now, granted, maybe we weren't practice. Not everybody that was there was a practice. One was Buddhist, and me Catholic, and then another. Some people were like wishy washy, um, whatever they were. They were just different things, and so that was that. And it was, and then there was another one of those writing groups that I started, and then at the pandemic, we met back up on Zoom, and so we are still. I started this thing in 2010 with these couple people, and then we get together every Wednesday night on Zoom, and we write for like a little bit, and so these people that and that was from this is like stuff 15 years people. But we there was like a time period where we didn't get together because it was like they weren't on internet or anything like that. And
Mhm.
but I don't know. I'm just kind of rambling here, but it's just that whole I don't know where this is
Going
going
down
to.
memory lane a little bit. That's all
Yeah.
right. Yeah, we reflect, you know.
Oh, I
I'm
what
gonna
I was
I'm
saying.
gonna definitely have to check out Tropical Empress because I've never been to her channel or your channel.
Yeah,
So
you should. And then what I guess what I was getting at was being prolific in producing content.
yeah,
And
100%.
that's something that I'm it may not be great content, but it's about being able to produce work, being single-minded and being driven. And that, I guess what it is, I'm driven.
I guess it's your whatever your particular aim is for doing what you're doing with it, producing. You know, like I feel my commitment is to doing my, what I do my once a week, look at the energy of the week and then once a month and then maybe one love energy for the month or something like this. And that's my commitment. Anything else is gravy. you know, but then some people, because my aim is to just do what I can do and put out that message spiritually. Some people, maybe it's they just love to work. I'm just not one of those
Yeah.
people. I'm not going to ever be a worker bee. They're not going to put on my tombstone and she died, with the pen in her hand or anything like that. But some people want to do it for income. There's just all kind of motivation. So you like
I
producing, that's good.
I
That's
really
good.
don't want to do it for income.
I mean, I
Um,
would. I'm not saying I wouldn't do it for, but I'm just
yeah.
saying I'm not going to pump out a lot because I have to do with my time certain
Well,
things.
it's
You know,
that
I have so many interests.
Elizabeth asked the other was the other day. It was about being doing art and being relaxed about it, but I don't necessarily get that because I have done art for money, and when you do art for money, you're doing it. Your motivation is different,
Yeah, it is.
and
I get you.
so when you are doing the same images over and over and over again, there's a different kind of it has a different kind of an energy to it,
Sure.
and I don't necessarily
I
um
like the one on the bottom. That one is beautiful. That's the one I like. That one, yeah. That's
yeah.
wow. That's very powerful. That
This
image.
one, this one was the
That one's
first.
nice. That one's nice, but I like the colors in the other one. That's
Yeah.
me personally. I just
Well,
like the reds and the yellows.
this is the first one, and so this one is my portfolio piece, and
Mm.
everything else is I don't. I sometimes sell the first ones, and then I'll come across one like I say, like I'll do that same image. I'll probably do it like 100 times, and then there'll probably be like three or four in it that are just outstanding. I
Well,
think yeah.
let's yeah, because I want to just say thank you. Thank you for
Yeah.
having me. Thanks to everybody that visited this chat and lent your beautiful energy because it allowed me and Bill to have such a nice, cozy conversation and interaction, and I appreciate that personally. Thanks,
All right.
Bill.
I gotta go. Somebody's calling for me,
All right.
and I wanted to thank everybody for coming in and saying hello, and I got to go right now. Bye.
Bye bye.